Hey everybody, haven't done a live in a while. We're just waiting for the TikTok stream to kick off and then we'll start answering your questions. So a bunch of you have sent me questions online. You sent me some DMs, so cool. I'm going to answer as many as I can. And if you have anything or if you hear me put out an answer and if you want me to expand on it a little bit more, just type it up in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it for you. All right, so I didn't take the names down of whoever asked me questions, so I'm just going to read it out. Okay, so the first one, where is the best place to put your retirement when you resign? All right, so when you do resign, you'll have options. The first option would be to withdraw. And if you do withdraw, there's some heavy taxes coming your way. And obviously, if you have no other option, then you're going to have to withdraw and take those taxes. The next option you have is that some companies allow you to keep the funds with that pension fund provider of the old company. You'll also have the option to transfer it to the new company if the new company has that option. But ultimately, my recommendation is to preserve those funds on your personal capacity. Because when you preserve on your personal capacity, you'll have the ability to choose wherever it is that you want to invest in, as long as you follow the rules of Regulation 28. So you have the ability to maximize offshore. And traditionally, if you're with the big asset managers and the big pension funds, depending on the age, they will tweak your investment as and when, and they won't, maybe they won't ask you. But when it's on your own capacity, you can be as aggressive as you want, as old as you want. Traditionally, people will be more conservative as you get older. But when you do things on your own, when you preserve on your own, as long as you are operating under Regulation 28, you should be fine. So these preservations are specific retirement preservation funds. You can't allow those pension funds to come into your account and then you transfer it somewhere into a RA or something like that. It doesn't work like that. It has to go from your old pension into a new preservation account, and that's something your financial advisor would assist you with in terms of setting everything up, selecting funds based on your risk, and then the transfer happens without you touching or seeing the money into this preservation account. And you check it every once in a while, make sure everything is up to date and your retirement is growing. Okay, cool. Next question. Where's the best place to save 1,000 Rand per month for 20 years? Okay, so when it comes to that, the first thing I do is set up an emergency fund. And once I have that emergency fund in place, I would look at a tax-free investment. So if it's only 1,000 Rand a month that you had, you were within the various thresholds of that tax-free investment, and that's where I would put the money. Just know there are differences in the tax-free investments available in South Africa. You have the bank products that are interest-bearing, and a lot of that interest is barely reaching inflation. Whereas if you play in the equity space, in the offshore space, when it comes to your tax-free investments, you have a higher chance of you making some good money in the long term. So 1,000 Rand a month over 20 years, my bet would be the tax-free investment. The maximum you can do on that is 36,000 Rand per month. 36,000 Rand per year, up to an overall cap of 500,000 Rand per lifetime per South African. Where is the best place to put your money so you can get 10% return? So interest rates are high. A lot of banks are being very competitive and offering you these interest rates. Well, what your thinking should be around this is not just looking at the interest rate, but also looking at inflation rate as well. So the official inflation is around 6.5%, 7%, and if you're looking at an interest return of 10%, technically you're looking at a real rate of return of 3.5% or so. And I guess if that's something you're comfortable with, then the banks are your best bet. But if you want greater returns, greater than what the banks are giving you while still being conservative, then you speak to a financial advisor, or even you go on your own. A lot of fintechs apps are available. You just need to know what you need to be picking and why you need to be picking it, and you've got to be watching the markets and all of that if that's your thing. If that's not something you want to do, then you'll speak to somebody like me, a financial advisor. What's the best thing that you can do with 100K? Okay, again, I would make sure that I have some emergency funds in place. Okay, and once I have that, my first layer is my tax-free investment. Okay, so I'd break up that tax-free investment to cap my 36,000 Rand for the year into a unit trust or ETF-based tax-free investment, offshore of course. And then I'd put the balance into unit trust, possibly mimicking the funds within that tax-free investment. And then in the next financial year, I would draw that 36,000 from the unit trust and transfer it over to my tax-free investment. Also, it depends on your intentions for the money. Are you okay to lock up that money for the long term? Do you need quick access to the money? Are you have this money for something specific? All of that needs to be taken into account before you jump into the investment. And just know that the content of this video or any of my content that you ever see online, it's never financial advice. It's financial education. All right, if you have any questions, please type it up. TikTok, I see your questions. I'm coming to it in a little bit. What's the best thing to invest in? The best investment that you can make is always yourself. Okay, always invest in yourself. So you're not basing your investment decisions solely on a financial advisor or friend or family member. You got to take the time, do some courses, spend some time, tons of information available on YouTube. Excuse me, recovering from a cold. So the best investment you can make is always in yourself, and your knowledge, in your financial literacy specifically. All right, so let's go to some TikTok questions. All right, Vicky is recommending that you keep it in the sofa like Ramaphosa. And I don't object to that. If he can do it, we should be allowed to do it as well. Is it the time to buy shares? Yeah, depending what shares you're looking at. We're at the end of the commodity cycle, and you'll see a lot of commodities and resource companies in South Africa. The shares have dropped big time. So if you're somebody who has a long-term horizon, for me specifically, I'm waiting for it to drop some more, and then I would buy and I'll hold for the next commodity cycle. So we're looking at 5 to 7 years. I will buy and I'll hold. It just depending what type of shares. Retail shares are not doing the best right now. There are pockets of growth on the GSE. But if you can't take the risk of solely investing in shares, you'd want to be in a unit trust. Is it better to invest with an insurance company or bank? If those are the only two options, I would say an insurance company. Most insurance companies are linked with asset managers. Even most banks, they have their wealth management side of things, and they can give you pretty competitive products. For example, maybe on Standard Bank, you can get a Nedbank fund, for example, or an ABSA fund. Like behind the scenes, behind the scenes of the consumer, all of these companies, they're all holding hands. They all want to grow their business, and they all work with each other. The thing that you got to know about the various companies, remember that most banks offer you only interest. A lot of banks have the share trading platform where you can trade shares, ETFs, and unit trusts. It all depends on you, how financially savvy you are. You can manage things on your own, then you can go directly. And if you don't have that financial savviness, you don't have the time to learn, or it's just not your thing, but you want to grow your wealth, then you link up with a financial advisor. Ideally, an independent financial advisor that not linked to one specific bank, not linked to one specific company, but when it comes to independent advisors, the client is our client, not a service provider or bank or an insurance company. Okay, Krugerrand, where is that? Krugerrand, buy or sell 1 ounce or half an ounce. I would buy anything I can get. The Kruger start from 1/10 all the way up to 1 ounce, and I see there's some specific collectors, you get it on a 2 ounce as well. I'd stick to the government backed coins like the Kruger, like the Maple, like the American Eagle, and not these funny Mickey Mouse coins, like literal Mickey Mouse coins and Minion coins. I would not touch that. I'm a big believer in gold and silver. It's God's wealth, and I would definitely buy. And remember, the content of this video is not financial advice, it's financial education. What is the best option for monthly dividend? There's a few. I would look at Signia Divi funds. They're quite nice. Satrix Divi funds. If you're looking for offshore, I'm a big fan of the core shares aristocrats. They really pay you out some nice offshore dividends. And when you see aristocrats next to something, you know it's big established companies that's been around for a while. Monthly dividends is very hard. So if you're looking for monthly income on dividends, you're going to have to sit with the whole list and see who's paying every month and time yourself. Or if you're with a fund like an ETF or unit trust, you'll get it maybe 2 times a year or 4 times a year. But if you want a monthly return, maybe you're looking for interest return, and plenty of that available. Best way to invest 300,000. Depends. What's your intention for that money? Are you okay to put it away for a while? Guaranteed investment rates are really, really good now. Very, very competitive. I would look at that. If you are willing to take some risk, offshore, 100% offshore. What is the cost to get a financial advisor? All right, so we all set our own fees. Okay, I'm an independent advisor, so I get to set my own fee. You'll find a lot of financial advisors that are linked specifically with banks or with specific insurance companies. They come and do the work for free and get paid with commissions. Yeah, so each of us set our own fee. We all have different plans where we work with you to try and get you to where you want to be with your money. If you want to know what my fee is, you're going to have to book an appointment, and we'll see how we can help you there. What if you want to invest yourself? You can invest yourself. You don't need a financial advisor. If you want to invest yourself, you got to be willing to do the work. You got to know the markets. You got to understand taxation. You got to know inflation. Know that there's some products, investment products, you can't get without an advisor just because of the licensing of it. Okay, so a lot of my clients manage a lot of their stuff on their own. But certain times a year they come, they pay their consult fee, we look at everything, I'll give them the points, and they execute on their own. Right, so you have those options. It's very flexible, and you don't need a financial advisor to start investing. You can do things on your own. You just need to put in the work and do the work and learn the environment, and everybody should be doing it, whether you have an advisor or not. Okay. Best investments for kids' university fees. Ideally, you want to be in a unit trust. A lot of advisors sell endowments as education funding policies. That's not my philosophy. I don't believe in that. Endowments are great. I wouldn't put it for a university fees. I like the impact of the unit trust, mainly because you get to play around with the taxes, okay, on how you withdraw. And with unit trust, you trigger capital gains tax. It's one of the lowest forms of taxes that you can get in South Africa. How do you invest offshore? Okay, if you're going to do it yourself, you're going to link up with the offshore company. You're going to work with the Reserve Bank and get your money offshore. There's a couple of forms to fill. They're making it very difficult, and this grey listing thing is just not helping South Africans at all. If you're with a financial advisor, we do everything. Don't ask me how. I have somebody who does it for me. It's just a lot of paperwork, and it's a pain. I have an RA at 600 per month. Is it good? Should I up it? Okay, 600 Rand a month with Regulation 28 is not going to do a lot. I'm a big believer that you should plan for a retirement. Not everything needs to be in a retirement annuity. And for me to explain that, it's actually financial advice, so you're going to have to book an appointment. Okay, that's it for TikTok. Okay, you have a retirement policy at a certain company you would like to cancel. Will I get a portion out? All right, so when you cancel your current retirement annuities, the rules are, like the legislation, is that you could never touch that money before retirement. So you can pause your premiums, you can make it paid up, and unfortunately with the company that you would, they're going to hit you with some heavy penalties. And and that's it. The money just stays with the company. You can transfer it out, but you can never have that money in your hand until you retire, minimum age 55. Where can I get the best unit trust? So there's tons of unit trusts around. You can go directly to an Allen Gray or Coronation, but ideally you want to be on a linked platform where you have hundreds and hundreds of unit trusts to choose from. So speak to your financial advisor, check out various fintech apps. I'm not going to promote products and companies on the stream, but there's lots of information available. Okay, let's go to Instagram. What questions do you have for me? What's the best for your kids? All right, so the kids, if you want to save for general wealth building for the kids, tax-free investment, any South African with the ID number can have a tax-free investment. And like I said, unit trust or ETF-based investment. Is it a good idea to take out an RA for a small child? Yes. You don't even have to do monthly payments on that. If you have once off 5,000, 10,000, just put it in there and forget about it. For 40, 50 years, that will grow into an insane amount, because growth within a retirement annuity happens tax-free. So whenever profit comes into that investment, you don't pay taxes on it like interest-bearing investments or unit trust. How much is my fee? All right, so DM me, we'll send you details of our fees. Oh, thank you. You like the flexibility of how I work, right? So my goal as a financial advisor is to meet my clients' needs, and not every client needs everything that I do. So if you just want a custom portion, we can customize it. That's one of the joys of being an independent advisor. You got no boss. The client's your boss. So what the client needs, I can adapt to. Okay, so RA is for kids. More questions on that? It's the same rules apply for kids as it does for us. The minimum that they can access it is age 55. And the most important thing about that is the growth is tax-free, and it has to operate within Regulation 28, which your advisor would help you with. And they can't access it sooner. The only time you can access your RA sooner is when you immigrate, and that's 3 years after. If you're permanently disabled and you don't have any other funds, you are able to fund your, life after your permanent disability from your retirement. If you get divorced, and you gotta have those divorce settlements and all of that. And when you die, well, you won't get the money, but your beneficiary will. Okay, you wanna get in touch with me? You go to my website. It's sullivanwealth.co.za. And you book an appointment, or whichever stream you're on, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram, you click the link in the bio, and it will take you to a whole bunch of links, and the first link there is how you can book an appointment. What does paid up mean? Can a paid up RA be resurrected? Paid up mean that I'm paying this RA and now I can't afford it, I'm making it paid up. Meaning I'm no longer paying these premiums, but the money is staying with the company. Maybe I can transfer it to a different RA with a different company, but it basically means that those premiums are stopping. And with a lot of life companies, you pay some heavy penalties to stop the premiums. Can it start again? It just depends on the life company. If you want to start up your RAs again, I wouldn't recommend a life company. Do you think buying property is still a good investment? Yeah, it's always going to be a good investment, especially if you want to rent it out. I would encourage you to check out my YouTube video on why I wouldn't pay my bond off sooner. And that will help you make your decision, especially all of the tax benefits and the inflation benefits of investment property. And that will give you a very in-depth answer with spreadsheets and all of that. When it comes to buying property, what would be what advice is the best way to go about it? Are you buying for yourself or are you buying for investment? I think once you know that's the best way. The best advice I can give you is always look at alternate finance first. Most folks go the bank route first. I would always look at alternative funding options first. If you want to know more about retirement investments, I highly recommend Lawrence Bowles. I think that's how you say his name. Check out his video on my YouTube channel, Financially Fabulous Females. I think he's brilliant. He's a property coach. I refer a lot of my clients who want to get into property. I refer a lot of my clients to him because he's that good, and I would recommend it. Okay, best unit trust, answered that already. Are you based in KZN? I am based in KZN. I do travel to see clients. Most of my clients are in Cape Town and in Joburg. I will not travel to see them now. He can see me on Zoom. I travel to Johannesburg and Cape Town from November to around April or so to see clients. But I very rarely see clients face to face, especially in Durban. I don't have much clients in Durban. How much do you need to start working with you? Ideally, I mean, from your income, you need to have at least 4,500 rands. That's just my threshold on the type of client that I want to work with. You don't have to invest that whole 4,500 rand. It doesn't really matter what you earn. But I mean, if you can safely manage your money well to get an excess 4,500 from your expenses, then I would like to work with you. That's my ideal client. If you don't have that much, work at getting that much. I know it's not easy, but it's just that behavior that allows you to get to an extra 5,000 rand a month. I wish to convert my RA to an investment policy instead. That can't happen. If you want to pause your RA, you pause it, you take the penalty, and obviously you still want to manage that money to make sure it's growing as fast as possible, because that growth is tax-free, and then you start up a different investment policy. If the repo rate goes down, will my monthly bond payment go down as well? Yes. So if your bond is not fixed, then yes, it will. And hopefully it'll start coming down next year, or maybe the last quarter. Yeah, so it's going to be a hard year so far. Just stay tight and keep focused on your goals and manage your money well. How do you get in touch with me? You go to my website. It's www.solomonwealth.co.za or financiallyfabulousfemales.com, and click on any of the buttons there that tells you book an appointment, and we can chat. Yes, somebody wants to marry someone and get divorced the next day to retrieve your RA. Okay, but when that happens, there's some heavy taxes to pay, so it's not worth it. Okay. Please vote for a certain party so we can have a peaceful and better country. Okay, let's not get into that. I don't even have enough battery life to get into that conversation. Hi, why do most advisors I've consulted to date can't see the logic in your advice not to pay? I don't know. I don't know how to answer. I'm not sure about other advisors. For me, my role as an advisor is just not finance, but it's wealth. And wealth is more than just insurance and RAs and all of that. It's about living abundantly, and that's how I tailor my advice for abundant living. Okay, I'm a 26-year-old. I haven't taken an RA as yet. Do you recommend an RA or an investment plan? It depends on your future. If your future is outside South Africa, then investment. If your future is in South Africa, I would say it would be a blend of an RA and an investment plan. And why and what type of investment, that's financial advice, and you're going to have to book an appointment. What JSE stocks would you recommend? It depends on your risk. I like stocks that are listed in South Africa, but most of the business is outside South Africa. Mainly because the climate in the country is really crappy and not much is growing. There's pockets of growth and you've got to be watching it all the time. Whereas there's quite a few companies where a lot of their business is done in Africa and Europe and North America. Those are the kind of companies I'm personally buying shares in, those kind of companies. Okay. Is there a way to pay a bond quicker? Yes, there is. But watch the video on my YouTube channel on why I won't pay my bond off quicker. can you suggest a life annuity or a living annuity? All right. So at this point, you're ready to retire, and then you're going to take your retirement money and you're going to pick between those two. So let's understand the difference between the two. The living annuity, your clue there is a living annuity. As long as you're living, the money is in the market and you'll get an income. The life annuity is, as long as you're alive, you'll get an income. So my recommendation, depending on how I'm planning for clients and what their financial situation is, do they have other income and all of that, and then we'll take a decision on the best. But you can even have a blend of both, because then if you have a blend of both, the life annuity is going to give you an income for life, and it's very competitive in that space. So always look at more than one company, at least 3 or 4 different companies to see what's out there. And then the living annuity, you're playing on the markets. You can draw as much as you want. And obviously, the least you draw, the more your money is going to last you. So look at a blend. A really savvy advisor can really make that money work for you and take that to generational wealth. There's just lots of options, and it's very competitive there. Okay, for my consultation fee, you're going to have to book an appointment, and we can talk about that. Depends on your needs and what exactly you need. Okay, yes, solomonwealth.co.za. That's correct. It's SOLOMON wealth.co.za. Okay, if you're a student, I'm assuming you have a student budget. I would stick to the tax-free investments. Once you're up and running and your career is getting started, you'll have a great base to start out from. Can you recommend top 3 dividend share portfolios? I would stick to the ETFs and the unit trusts on that. Although there are some great dividends that are paying, the capital, the appreciation of those units are just dropping so drastically. If you're looking for income right now, interest-based investments are the place to be. Can you have more than one and a pension plan? Yes, you can. The limit on your retirement contributions is 27.5% a year. Not all of it needs to be in a pension, or not all of it needs to be in a provident. You can have a blend. You can have more than one, but always pay attention to fees. Obviously, if you consolidate it, the cheaper it's going to be for you. But if you're going to have more than one, know why you're having more than one. All right? Are they offering you something? Like life companies offer you some nice discounts, nice cash back. So if you want to be one of your RAs to be with them, okay, great. But ideally, when it comes to RAs, you want to be with an asset manager, because unlike a life company, an asset manager doesn't charge you a heavy fee when you pause it. All right? So we spoke about paid up. Paid up only happens in the life insurance space, and life insurance RAs. It doesn't happen with an asset manager. If my clients tell me that I'm having a tight couple of months, please pause my RA, I can do that. There's no penalties. And when they're back on the feet, 2 months, 3 months, a year later, we just started again. There's no penalties. All right. And unfortunately, advisors are selling RAs with life companies. There are a couple of instances to sell RAs with life companies, but majority of the time you should be with an asset manager where you're not paying those hectic fees, and where you have the flexibility to pause and stop, increase, decrease as life happens. And life happens, that everybody goes through financial situations. Yeah, living annuity income is capped at 17.5, minimum of 2.5. How long can RA be paused for? Obviously, now if you're in a life company, you can't pause it. If you are with an asset manager, it can be paused indefinitely. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You want to be contributing to retirement. But obviously, I think the so-and-so RA is bad. Okay, pros and cons for each one. So like I said, I'm not going to diss any company or promote any company on this platform. What do you think about forex trading? Right now, there's a lot of people with my face that are scamming people on the forex trading. So I am not for it. If it's something that you want to learn with a legitimate company, then yeah. But stay away from those people that say, we're going to turn your 100 Rand into 10,000 Rand by next week. That doesn't happen. And a lot of people have been scammed by people pretending to be already. And please don't do that. Okay, what do I need to open a tax-free investment for a minor child? You need to be on the right platform or with your financial advisor. You need your ID, the child's ID, your bank account, and you need some money and proof of residence, proof of bank account. That's it. It's pretty easy. Is crypto a good investment? Okay, like the scammers are in this crypto space again. I think crypto is a great investment if you are with the right sort of company and the right sort of wrapper. There's some great things available. Unfortunately, legislation has not moved as fast where I can be recommending those kind of products, but it's going to be very competitive as soon as the FSCA gives us some guidelines on how we can advise you on crypto. Examples of life companies and asset managers. So life companies are Liberty, Discovery, Old Mutual, Sanlam. Asset managers are people like Alan Gray, Coronation, Resco, Stanley, Signia. Yeah, so there's like hundreds of boutique asset managers in the country. You can go directly. The disadvantage is you're stuck with only with their funds. Whereas if you're on a linked platform, you can get anybody on linked platforms. You can get Discovery, you can get Momentum, you can get Coronation, you can get Alan Gray. That's where you want to be. All right, so those are the questions for today, and my voice is going. If you want an appointment, you are going to my website. It's www.solomonwealth.co.za, or click the link on whichever platform you are listening on. Are you a CFP? No, I'm not a CFP. I have 1 more year to go to get a CFP exemption because I'm an MBA. How much cash money should I take when you retire? All right, so when you retire is you have the 1/3, 2/3, and you'll get your tax table. First for 550, if you haven't claimed before, will be tax free. So from there you will take a decision. What are your thoughts on the proposed 2-pot system? So that's going to create huge gaps. People that are not financially literate are going to take out those funds, pay some huge taxes, and are going to be left wanting at retirement. For the financially savvy, you're going to leave the money there and enjoy that tax-free growth. And unfortunately, times are so tough, people are going to be forced to take out that money. The way I see it, it's more fundraising for government. Right, so we know that the tax pool is shrinking. There's only so much they can take from us. They can't raise taxes anymore because we have nothing else to give. And the way I see it, it's government's fundraising, because they're going to hit you with some heavy taxes when you withdraw those funds. Should I rather resign at 64? I'm not sure. I can't give you advice on that if I don't know your whole situation. Okay, fixed deposit, a good idea? Yeah, very competitive space. Depending how much, I would look at the interest exemptions, make sure I'm not going over before I take a decision, and know that we're going to have at least 2 more interest rate hikes this year. And if you get in now, that means you're locked in at a certain rate. Maybe you'll miss the high. So that's the pros and cons of taking a fixed deposit decision. Roth IRA, 100 a month. So Roth IRA is an American investment. It's not a South African investment. So the Americans tell you they can do that because the Americans don't have Regulation 28. It's very difficult to grow a 100 Rand a month investment to 1 million Rand with Regulation 28. Regulation 28 is the big one there that only 45% of your money can go offshore. And if you really look at the details and the funds in your RA, you'll see that the South African side is not growing. It's in the negative. Okay, that's it. Any more questions, please DM me. Maybe we can do another session next week. If you want to book an appointment, it's solomonwealth.co.za, or click the link where you're watching this video, and we can chat. All right, so you guys have a good night, and hopefully we'll chat soon.